It's awesome if you're winning, but let's make your last name win.
It was funny. My son, I picked him up from school and we were talking about his day like we do every day. Some kid said a comment that somebody was following him. And then Gianni goes, "Hey, did you pay your taxes?"
I think it's less than 35% of families actually talk about money with their children. If you don't talk about that, they're going to learn it somewhere else.
Welcome to another episode of the Profitable Path podcast. I am your host, Marco Cabrera, and today we have a special guest, Juan Saavedra. He is a financial expert with years of experience in training leaders and consulting businesses. He has successfully built several million-dollar companies and is here to share his knowledge with you. So tune in and listen as Juan dives into the world of financial services. Juan, how you doing, my man?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me on today,
No,
bro.
thank you for coming. I know right now it's the new year, so I know your schedule is hectic right now.
Yeah, in the new year, everybody wants to get their finances right, get investments going, take advantage of the market, man. Last year was a crazy good year.
Yeah, to say the least. Crazy good.
Crazy. Well, yes and no. Depends on what the part of the market.
Okay.
But stock market wise, if you've been a consistent investor and you're dollar cost averaging, last year the S&P was up 26% last year.
Wow.
You should have made it. Last year should have been one of the best years for you in the stock market.
So if you didn't, then it's time to question your financial advisor.
I mean, yeah, if it's not, and if you didn't manage it wisely or you weren't in the right funds, yeah, you maybe didn't see the returns. But last year on paper was the 15th best year in the history of the U.S. stock market.
Wow.
So it could have been one of the best years for you to be in the market.
Wow, those are serious numbers right there.
Yeah. Last year was debatably it was a similar return after the 2008 financial crisis.
Okay.
Literally, it was a crazy year.
Wow, that's insane. That's good to know. Well, that's exactly why I wanted to bring you on, right? Because this podcast is Profitable Path.
Yeah.
So it's all about real estate investing, entrepreneurship, kingdom mindset, right? That's our core.
Yeah.
But finances and financial literacy is so important in entrepreneurship.
Yep.
Right. And I think a lot of times entrepreneurs, business owners, they fall short when it comes to their finances.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to bring somebody from your industry to come here and start educating a lot of our listeners.
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I hate to say it. I've met thousands of really good business people that know how to make the money. They know they have the skills, they have the talent to earn the income, but they fall apart financially just because they didn't manage it properly over 3-5 years. And then you can be the best business person, but if you don't know what you're doing with your money, that business is going out of business.
Yeah, I definitely learned that early in my career that I'm a great earner.
Yeah.
But I needed to learn how to manage my finances.
Yeah, I think a big mistake entrepreneurs make is, especially people that are really good at the earning part, or and there's a lot of talented real estate guys I've met.
Yeah.
They got to hire someone if you're not good at finance. If that's not your thing, that's why Fortune 500 companies have a CFO.
Yeah.
A C Corp, you have a financial person running the money.
Now, you've taken the role of CFO in some companies lately, right?
Smaller, mid-sized companies that are not at the level yet to hire a full-time CFO, but more on a consulting basis.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I think a lot of businesses, if that's not a forte as the owner or the operator, yeah, you should outsource.
Yeah.
Right. Just like you're a real estate guy. If I bought a house, I don't know how to build.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to put together drywall and bathroom.
No, not at all.
I'm going to find a contractor that's their thing.
Yeah. I hire somebody who manages the property, a property manager.
Yeah.
So people in real estate don't think that if you're going to purchase a rental property that you're going to have to go in, when the toilet's clogged and go and fix it or whatever issue they're going through. You hire a property manager, you give them a percentage of what you're making and they maintain the property for you. Of course, you have to stay on top of the property manager, make sure they're doing what they're supposed to.
Yeah.
But outsource.
So in other words, HGTV is not real.
No, not at all. It's cool to watch.
Yeah, it's fun to watch.
Sometimes I watch, I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, no. Chip and Joanna Gaines, it's not accurate. It's not real life.
No, it's definitely entertaining, but it's not the real deal of real estate.
No,
Yeah,
it's
man.
not, man.
No, but thank you for being here. First question I have for you: what was your life like before finances and financial services?
Yeah, so in short story, I started in financial services when I was 19 years old. I was a junior in college. I was studying economics, and I got recruited to work at an insurance company. So I started at New York Life as an insurance agent, and I started progressing. And I got to tell you, I was that weird kid in high school who I took economics 101, and I was like, oh, stock market. I like it. I gotta do that.
Yeah, you were instantly hooked.
Swear to God, I don't know what happened. It was like junior year of high school. I was like, oh, I actually like this class. I'm not gonna fall asleep and skip class, and I'm actually gonna stay in this thing.
That's funny you say that. In high school, I took a class, and it was a business class.
Yeah.
And I felt the same way. I was like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to create my own business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish we had that in my high school. Mine was not like that. But
Yeah. I mean, high schools and public schools in general, they need a lot of courses. They need to talk about more about this stuff.
yeah, I mean, it's crazy to say, but in private schools and even Christian schools, they actually do financial literacy.
They do. My son goes to a Christian school, and it's driven by a lot of that.
Yeah, they teach it, but in public schools, it's not a taught thing, and it doesn't make sense to me why we're teaching our youth, but they don't even understand like a tax return.
Yeah.
Or what a credit card even is.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
It was funny. My son picked him up from school, and we were talking about his day, like we do every day. And he was talking about some kid said a comment that somebody was following him, right?
Yeah.
And then Gianni goes, "Hey, did you pay your taxes?" He said the whole class started cracking up because he's like, somebody, we talk about that at the dinner table.
That's awesome. I think you should. I think I forgot the statistic. I should have put that in my notes, but I think it's less than 35% of families actually talk about money with their children. And then my opinion, now that I'm a dad since last year, if you don't talk about that, they're going to learn it somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to learn it from, I don't know, somebody else.
Yeah, and I teach my kids that. My youngest, he actually has an app that helps him with his finances. So he has jobs that I don't call them chores. They're, he has his responsibilities, but he has other things that he does that he gets paid for.
Yeah.
Right? His responsibilities he doesn't get paid for. It's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
But everything else he gets paid for on a weekly basis. And he has to check it off for him to get paid.
I love it.
So if he doesn't check it off, he's not getting paid. And then even after he gets paid every Friday.
That's cool.
He has to do his finances before he has free time.
That's awesome.
So he has to do his tithing. He's got to put away for savings, and he also got to put away money savings to invest.
Love it.
Yeah, he does that every week.
That's incredible, dude. That I teach for my clients, for my one-on-one clients, commissions, not allowance. You don't give your kid an allowance.
Yeah,
there's certain things that they should do to earn. Hey, cleaning up after yourself, that's not like, you don't get paid for that.
You don't get paid for that.
Making your bed, that's like
what you're supposed to do.
That's what we pay the mortgage. That's kind of what you got to do.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think it's incredible.
Yeah. I've seen him grow like literally financially. And now he's asking about stocks.
Dude,
so
you should
he's
start.
12-year-old. Well, I started him on Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Good.
So he's reading that book now. And then
how old is Gianni?
He just turned 12.
Dude, open up a custodial Roth IRA for the kid.
Yeah, I did already.
You know the
You
math?
told me to do that
Yeah.
a few years ago.
Yeah.
I did it like 3 years ago.
Well, for anybody watching that's got a kid, maybe even under 12, as soon as they start earning an income, earned income, it can't be like, some random money grandma gave them. It's got to be like what Marco's talking about. Just think about this, from 16 to 30. If they do $100 a month consistently from 16 to 30, you never invest again for the rest of your life, you retire with $1.2 million. And you never do anything. That's $100.
It's $100.
Yeah, it's not a
People
lot.
spend that at.
I think going to dinner now, even going to like a reasonable dinner now is $100.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's cheap. Right?
No.
Back in my day, dinner in a movie was pretty cheap.
Yeah, I mean,
dinner in a movie is not cheap anymore.
This is now an adjective I found. Pre-COVID is now like a thing.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, I can go out to dinner with my wife, and we could drop under $100.
Yeah.
But now, I think a nice dinner, maybe God forbid you get a couple drinks.
You're
dropping $150.
Yeah.
Maybe $200.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's bring it back to what you were talking about. So you fell in love with stocks, high school. What's next?
So then after that, after insurance, I did that for about 4 years, climbed close to the top of New York life. Then I transitioned into marketing, and I did that for another 4 or 5 years. And then right before COVID hit in 2019, I just made a big pivot. I was missing finance. Things weren't going good in the marketing field I was in. And I got back into finance. My wife was like, hey, you're not happy anymore getting up in the morning. She goes, we're making money, but you're just not happy doing what you're doing anymore. So I got back into financial services in 2019. And now for the last 5 years, this has been what I do, man. And it's really incredible.
Wow, that's cool, man. So you fell in love with stocks, started working, then you got into marketing. So you weren't doing what you really were intrigued. And then
Yeah.
Fast forward, you're not happy anymore. Now you get back into finances.
Yeah.
Fast forward, this is where you're at today.
Yeah. And now my big thing that I do, I work a lot one-on-one with probably 80% of my clients are people like yourself, families with kids that are looking to where to invest their money, take their money to the next level. And then now recently over the last couple of years, it's businesses that they know they need help financially, but they can't hire a CFO.
Mm-hmm.
So most of them will hire a financial professional to come in and help them do, payroll and establish a 401k.
Yeah.
Or a big thing, like I know a lot of realtors listen or real estate people listen to this podcast. Pay yourself, guys. Actually invest like if you had a 401k.
Yeah.
The amount of real estate people I've met that I'm like, I got 7 houses. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you got into retirement? Okay.
What's retirement?
What do you mean? Stock market? Like, nothing. I think I got $100 in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, with that being said, why don't you share some tips for our listeners on financial management?
Yeah. I think the first thing that everyone's got to get used to, and it's hard because everyone's got different levels of financial knowledge, right? What you grew up with, what you know, who you surround yourself with.
Habits.
Yeah. Like it's so different. Like, so for me, even though I was in finance for so long, it's crazy to say this, I didn't invest for years. Like I was so worried. I was trying to get out of debt, getting out of bad credit card habits. That was a whole thing. But so I think the first thing would be don't over leverage yourself with debt. I think it's really easy to get into debt. Mm-hmm. Don't over leverage, especially if you're a real estate person. It's easy to get a $100,000 credit card.
Yeah.
That's not hard to do, especially if you know the right people and you got the right credit. Mm-hmm. Number 2, I think you got to start investing, putting some money aside for retirement. Even if you're one of those real estate guys or an entrepreneur that's like, I'm never going to retire. Trust me, at 65, you're going to want to slow down.
Yeah.
At 55, you're not going to want to sell 47 houses a year. You're going to want to take some time and vacation. Put 15% at least. I try to push people, if you can, 25% of your income should be going towards investments. Yeah. Not just stock market, though. I'm a big believer of the big 2, stock market and real estate. I think real estate's a great transaction people should get into. Yeah. And then probably last, but certainly not least, like we were talking about with the kids, make sure you're preparing the next generation. Mm-hmm. It's great if you're building your wealth and your last name's getting wealthier, but ultimately, where's it going to? Yeah. Where is that going back to? Let's make sure we're teaching the next generation to get an advantage where we didn't start. Yeah. I wish I knew some of the stuff I knew today back when I was 16, back when I was, Gianni's age. I would be killing the game by now. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's just all about, there's fear there, so like you understood the concept of finance, how to invest and get a return. Yeah. But you weren't doing it. Right. And I think a lot of people just have that certain fear because it's unknown. And I think that goes with everything, like you don't have to have $500, $1,000 to put away. No. You can start with $20. Yeah. The point, I think what you're trying to say is that you have to start building those habits, those healthy financial habits. Yeah. So you could grow and prepare for the future and your kids' future. Yeah. Also, I think a big part of it for me, speaking of myself, it was this procrastination YOLO mindset. Like, I'm 20 years old. I don't need to focus about retirement right now. Like, let me make my money. I'll start focusing on it at 32. Yeah. But 10 years of investing, like we heard, literally can cost you $500,000. Wow. Like literally, it literally costs you $500,000. Yeah, like if that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. Like if you're an early entrepreneur listening to this, I know you could do $100. I know you go out. I know you go out to a club. I know you go out to a bar. Starbucks. Yeah. And don't get me started with the Starbucks thing. Like Starbucks has gotten real crazy. But you could start. Don't wait. Even if you don't know, there's so much free resources out there. Like that's the best thing about our economy today. There's so much YouTube content out there for free. There's incredible people that can get you started absolutely for free. Yeah. You don't need to pay anybody. You don't need to pay a financial advisor yet. Yeah. No. You can do it on your own. Build those habits. And once it gets to a point where you need to scale, move it up, then hire someone. Yeah, like this is contradictory for me to say. Like I want people to pay me to get them as clients. But at the same time, you shouldn't hire a financial advisor until one, you honestly don't know what you're doing. Like you're like, oh shoot, I'm this point. Like if you tried investing and you didn't make money, especially last year, you need to actually get professional help. Yeah. 2, maybe you don't have the time for it. That's a big problem I've had with a lot of entrepreneurs. They make great money. They want to invest. Some of them really know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. But if you don't have the time to actually get in and make the trades and manage your portfolio, you got to outsource. You got to pay somebody to do it. Yeah. Or you have too big of a portfolio. You have to manage it.
Yeah, yeah. And that goes like what you were saying before, outsourcing, right? Because in a business, a lot of times business owners become married to their business, right?
Yeah.
They treat it, and they get in their own way. They
Yeah.
treat it like only they're the one, that they're the only one that can do the job. And
Yeah.
that's not the truth. If you hire somebody who's better than you at sales, your business is going to increase, and now you can focus on something that you're good at,
Yep.
you know?
That's so true. I think that's a big fear. That was one of my big fears, even
Yeah.
over last year when I had my daughter last year.
Mhm.
I knew I needed to hire someone
Yeah.
for admin and this and that, but I was just so like, oh my God, I'm gonna give somebody access to my QuickBooks. They might take money out. No, I think you just gotta let go of that fear and just,
Yeah.
you gotta. That's the only way to scale. You gotta hire.
That's it. That's the only way to
You
do
know?
it. So, Nate, what's one thing that you see that entrepreneurs and business owners, a mistake that they do with their finances?
I think big one. I think this is a problem for any entrepreneur, whether you're real estate, whatever you're in. Taxes. Taxes, man, such a big problem. Actually, report what you're earning. I'm all about getting the right write-offs and deducting the right things, but do it to a degree where you're not getting audited and then you actually don't owe money. The IRS is the last person you need checking your bank accounts.
Yeah.
Actually, put money aside for it.
Mm-hmm.
I teach a little strategy, especially for real estate guys or people. Every time you get a project or you close a deal, great. Just do easy math. This was the gross. This was my deductions. This is my net. All right, put 25% to the side for taxes.
Yeah.
So then at the end of the year, you have this nest egg of 50 grand or 80 grand or whatever the number for taxes. And maybe you don't even need to pay it.
Yeah.
And you pay yourself out the rest out at the end of the year to distribution.
Yeah.
I think taxes is a big problem.
No, that's good. I mean, that's the profit method, right? Like
Yeah.
different accounts. And that's worked fantastic for me.
Yeah.
My first hire outsourced was a CPA.
Yeah. It's pretty important.
CPA and a bookkeeper, somebody to manage it, because exactly that. I never wanted to end up in a situation with taxes. And Uncle Sammy, he's coming banging on the door.
Yeah. And the scary part about audits, unfortunately, I've been part of audits. Not thank God, and hopefully no IRS people are listening to this. Don't look into mine. But I've been through it with or Marcos. But I've been through it with clients. The IRS, the hard part about audits is you don't know what's happening until one day you try to access your account and the teller's like, oh, just so you know, the IRS has been looking into your.
Wow.
They don't tell you. They just go into transactions for you.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to be really careful. Like a new one that's actually just starting for 2024. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you've heard of the whole Zelle thing, right?
Yeah.
Business people, be careful of the Zelle thing. Just because someone Zells you a personal thing, that's counted on your Schedule C as business income.
Yeah.
Don't stop doing the Zelle thing.
Yeah. Stop doing the Zelle thing.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
So with that being said, what are some hacks that you could provide, tell our listeners or new entrepreneurs out there?
Yeah. I mean, whether you're just starting out or maybe you're super established or maybe you're really at a growth pace in your business, I think number one, if you're a solopreneur, immediately open up what's called a SEP IRA. Look it up, go on Google. And it's pretty much a retirement account through your business. So your business funds it. You can put up to $69,000 a year away, fully tax deductible, and you get to keep it as an investment account for your retirement. Number two, I think another big mistake for entrepreneurs is they don't take health insurance ever. And then actually get that, but open up an HSA for your business. You can deduct another $7,700 a year. And the best part, you keep all of it. It's tax deductible and it grows. You can invest that in the market and make a crazy good return and you keep all your money.
Wow.
I think those are two things. And then pay yourself out. Even if you're an entrepreneur and you have an S Corp or an L, whatever you have, pay yourself out so you can max out your own retirement accounts and the business. You could write off almost $110,000 a year. Easy, tax deductible, and keep everything.
Yeah.
And now you can have a huge portfolio.
Yeah.
Over time.
I think that's been the biggest growth in my company is paying myself out and automating my investing.
Yep.
Because I got to get it out of my account. If not, I look at it, I might get tempted to do the wrong thing.
Oh yeah.
It's
super important.
Everything is automated just to avoid those type of situations.
Yeah, I think it's important for us to know what you're investing too. Like I think this is a healthy exercise that I think everybody should do. You should go on. There's a bunch of great calculators out there. Just Google retirement calculator. But you should do kind of an example of like, hey, how much money do I actually need to comfortably retire with my real estate and my investments to be like, okay.
Yeah.
Because everyone thinks like, oh, I just need, $500,000 here and one real estate property, I'll be fine. And I'm like, no,
That's not enough.
no, you actually probably need like $8 million,
Yeah.
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 And that sounds crazy unless you are actually doing these little things we're talking about,
Yeah.
So I think that would be my biggest hack. Make sure you're taking advantage of these tax deferred accounts, contribute consistently. And more importantly, if you got the knowledge and you know what you're doing, make sure you're investing them wisely to make these great returns that you can be making in the S&P 500,
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's really good, man. So, what are your thoughts on the economy this past year?
There's two parts, right? Like there's the, U.S. economy with inflation and what Jerome Powell's doing and freaking reserve, man. They've been all over the place, but.
Well, right there, perfect. You just said inflation.
Yeah.
Right. Why don't you explain to our listeners in a nutshell what inflation is? Because I think a lot of people throw it around, but don't truly understand.
Sure. Let me give you economics 101 for somebody that doesn't know. Really simple. The Federal Reserve or Jerome Powell, as of right now, they set interest rates to banks, right? So the banks get money from the Federal Reserve. If the rates go high, in turn for us as the consumers or business people, our rates climb. Mortgage rates, credit card rates, auto loans, everything. So as the Federal Reserve raises rates, we either are really good or really bad. This last year, it was super bad because they kept raising rates. And then also the second part is inflation. How much do things appreciate and grow in percentages? Like I think housing, I don't know the percentage, I got to look it up, but housing is still up real hard aggressively versus just look at buying a house 2019 versus today.
Yeah.
It's gotten way harder.
Yeah.
Like for the first time homeowner, it's gotten significantly harder.
Yeah.
Food is still up, I think 14%. But core CPI is starting to go down, But that's pretty much what it is. How much things are growing in percentages year over year. The good news is inflation's coming down, thank God.
Yeah.
And
hopefully it really drops down because we need that too.
Well, last June it was 9.2, and now we're down to 3.3% as of December. So it's good, but let's see what happens this next coming quarter. In March, we get to figure out what the Fed is going to do again.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to bring you on in March.
Yeah.
All right, let's lock that in so we could talk about what's going on with the Fed, rates, inflation, and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, it'll be a crazy, because, no one can predict what's going to happen, right? Because who knows what's going to happen in 3 months.
Yeah.
But if the rates drop, mortgage rates could come down. Cars are finally getting somewhat affordable to a degree.
Yeah.
Do you think people will, if the rates drop, what do you think will happen with the real estate market?
I don't see any signs of it going down. No, I don't. Especially in our area, in Jersey.
No.
We're close to New York. Our numbers have always been strong.
Yeah, always.
As far as the rest of the country, I really don't see it either.
Yeah.
But, with rates dropping, kind of indicates that property values are going to go down, right?
You think so?
Maybe.
Maybe,
some
right?
experts say. I don't think so. I think people have been saying that for a long time, and there's been no sign of it.
Yeah. There was a time during 2020 or 2021 where everyone thought like interest rates were going to hit like 10%.
Yeah.
And there was going to be a huge real estate crash. Obviously, that didn't happen. Do you think that'll happen next year?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I don't see it happening.
I don't know enough about real estate, but for the stock market, it's for those of you that don't follow the stock market too much. Last year, the S&P 500 hit almost an all-time high, all time. Like it was crazy. So this year, there's either, if you look at data, anytime the market ends that high, there's a 50% chance that either this year will be a crazy good year or we might see a really bad year. I don't know.
Well, let's hope we don't see the real bad year, man.
Well, we'll find out in March based on what happens with the Federal Reserve because if Jerome Powell raises rate or drops rates, the market's going to climb again.
Yeah.
Really good. Everyone's going to want to invest again. Like if you look at some big companies right now, as an example, like I don't want to pick on Disney, but Disney right now is doing horrible.
Yeah.
If you look at Disney right now, it's as cheap as it was in 2009. It's
insane.
lost everything, all of its equity.
So, when things are low, it's a good time to buy, right?
If you believe in Disney.
Yeah.
Maybe.
They seem to be doing it to themselves, though.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
They're dropping the ball, man.
But doesn't their board have a say? Like, stop doing because this isn't working.
I don't think they're doing it well, or whoever's on this board. If you look at all they're doing, but another example was Tesla did crazy great last year. Tesla blew up. Yeah. Apple blew up. No surprise with Apple, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or Tesla. Elon's a beast.
I think I told you.
I think since he bought Twitter, now called X, I think they're up in users and everything else as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool. I'm curious to see what he's going to do. But yeah, Tesla was a great. I told you about my crazy investing story from last year.
Yeah, share it with our listeners.
So last year, December 2022, this time, well, now a couple weeks ago, I'm finalizing all my distributions through my business, and I'm like, okay, I got some tangible money that I could put in, and don't go stock investing crazy unless you really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, you know what? I could throw this much into Tesla because I think it could blow up. This year, I made 300% on Tesla. Well, 2023.
In 2020, and you made the investment last year at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
To close
out
out
the year, you saw a 300% return.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
If you know some of these things, but like I said, man, let's see what's going to happen with the stock market this year. But even in as a new listener, or maybe you're new to investing or new to the stock market, when things are down, that's the best time to get in. You're buying things when they're on sale. You're buying things that will naturally appreciate. I was looking at this. I was going to show you this before. If you look at the S&P 500, right, over the last 15 years, right, just check it out. Last year, 26%. Over the last 5 years, guess how much? If you've been investing consistently for the last 5 years in a good S&P index fund, guess how much the gain would have been over the last 5 years?
Last 5 years, I mean, typically is usually anywhere from like 8 to 10%, right, per year.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna go say 50%.
92.
Wow.
If you've been in consistently for 10 plus years, 156%.
That's good stuff.
It's crazy. So you got to make sure you're putting some money into that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about diversifying your portfolio, right?
Yeah.
I believe that you should be in real estate. I believe that you should invest in the stock market, definitely in retirement, and creating more businesses. I think local businesses is the backbone of the country. I recently just got into lawn care.
No, yeah, that's right.
I never mowed a lawn ever. I was talking to a lot of guys. I was doing a flip, and I was talking to the contractors, right? First, I talked to the HVAC company that was doing our HVAC. And, I ask anybody. I pick their brain. I want to know. I'm always constantly learning, right? Out, so I'm like, hey, what are you looking to do? What are you projected to do this year? He goes, $5 million. I'm like, really? $5 million? He's like, yeah, we're set to hit the 5 million mark this year. I'm like, cool. I talked to the plumber. I'm like, hey man, so I'm curious, like, how's your business going?
What's your revenue like?
Yeah, what's your revenue? What are you looking to make this year? He's like close to like 1.5.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know why, but construction companies gravitate towards me for some weird reason.
And then check it out. And then I see a landscaping company. I see the guys there. Start chopping it up with him. We're outside. I'm like, hey man, question. What's like the revenue? I know it's seasonal, but what do you bring in on a monthly basis? He's like, we bring in about close to 50,000 a month.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, cutting grass? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you don't do any additions? He's like, no, I just stay in my lane. I'm like, you don't do snow removal or anything like that? And then right there, the ball started rolling. Yeah, I'm like, I got to get into one of these businesses. I want to see if the system that I use for my real estate can work in something else. Yeah. And that's exactly what I did. So I took the system that I know, create a CRM, start marketing, create budgets, outsource everything. Yeah. And I built a team. We started getting clients. And we got up to it. It's nothing crazy yet. Yeah. But I see it, what it's going to be in 5 years, and I can really project it.
You've only been in for a year. I think it's great.
Yeah, and I only invested about like close to like 13,000.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
That's a good opportunity. I mean, I was shocked when I started working with some of these construction clients. Mm-hmm. Again, some contractors, small team, 5 guys, 6 guys, and I'm like, oh wow, you could actually you cleared $2 million this year.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. I'm like, oh my God.
And I think a lot of people forget about that. Yeah. Like you can create a cash flowing business. A lot of people think that, you buy a house in real estate and that's it. You rent it out, you're going to be rich. Oh, no. That's not how it works.
Oh, no, it's not.
You create a business that's bringing in cash flow. Yeah. The money that you make, start putting investment on the side. Yeah. And that money, you buy real estate. That's how you get to keep your money.
Yeah. And also a quick hack, because I know there's a lot of real estate people on this podcast. Any of these accounts I'm talking about, you can take out $10,000 for a real estate down payment. Yeah. So let's just say you're a business person in 2024 and you're trying to write off some taxes at the end of the year. You throw the $60,000 in there. You don't have to put 60, but let's just say it's 60. At the end of 24, you're like, you know what? I need to buy a property. Mm-hmm. You could take 10 grand out, tax free, completely clear, and put that towards and leave 50 in the market. Yeah. So then over time, you're not real estate heavy, and at the same time, you're not stock market heavy. Yeah. You could have probably like a 60-40 or 70-30 portfolio, 70% real estate 30% stock.
Yeah.
And that's how you can really capitalize on both, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I told you that's my next big move. I need to get my next property.
Yeah. It's good stuff. I'm going to help you with that.
Yeah.
But good stuff, man. This is really good stuff. I hope the listeners are taking notes. Rewind this, play it over.
Yeah.
We're going to be posting a lot of it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of gold here, man. If you're looking to dive into the world of real estate, we have the perfect tools and resources just for you. Our carefully selected top secret document library is packed with proven documents to streamline your transactions and help you navigate the real estate market with confidence. Additionally, we offer a comprehensive wholesale 101 masterclass designed specifically for beginners. In this course, you'll learn everything you need to know about finding affordable properties, negotiating lucrative deals, and building a network of eager buyers. We're here to empower you with the knowledge and skills necessary to flourish in the real estate industry. But that's not all. The Real Estate Investor Secret Vault is your gateway to unlimited success. Our marketing matrix and calculators will assist you in making informed decisions, ensuring maximum profits effortlessly. So don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to kickstart your real estate journey. Join us today and unlock the secrets that will propel your real estate career to new heights. Log on to investorsvault.club and get started now. Now let's get back to our program. In general, we were talking about the economy and stock market. As far as the global economy, how does that affect local businesses and investors?
That's a good question. You know, it's real touchy because I'll just use the current problem that's going on that everyone's talking about. It's a big issue in America. This whole Israel-Palestine situation. It's crazy. You know, it's super sad what's going on. And the hard part is when our government throws money and resources out there to help, it directly impacts our economy. You know, anytime we lend money, we take on debt, which is more money out of taxes and less money pumping into our economy. So, yeah, I mean, last year,
not only Israel and Palestine, but we have the other war.
We have 2 wars going on. That's right. The Ukraine situation too. Yeah. So yeah, it's big. It's a big impact because we don't know what's going to happen. I pray to God that all of it stops and all these things that are going on can just really stop going on and people can come home and families could be safe.
Yeah.
But unfortunately the hard answer is as we get more involved, it hurts our economy because now the market's less, you know, the stock market goes down. Last year, international stocks, I think we're up, 15% last year.
Okay.
But now we're going to see what happens this year because this whole situation is really out of hand right now.
Yeah.
You know?
No, absolutely. So with that being said, with all this going on globally, you know, it's affecting our economy directly.
Yeah.
What would you tell people how to manage their risks in their finances here?
Okay. Well, I think it's just 2 parts, right? So if you're talking retirement and you're talking long-term, put your blinders on and don't worry about that because like I showed you the percentages, 10 years is 150%. Don't get focused on this current year. Mm-hmm. That's the secret about it. It's just like you would tell a person in real estate investments. It's not like, put a down payment, flip a little bit, put some paint. Yeah. You're going to make $7,000 a month for the rest of your life. That's not going to work.
That's not going to work. Yeah.
Stock market's the same. You're not going to throw 10 grand into Tesla and then make $1 million in 7 years. Mm-hmm. It's a long-term grind. So if we're talking investing for retirement, dollar cost average, consistently invest, buy the right funds. And you're going to see some down years. Yeah. But you're going to see some crazy good up years. And over a 20-year window, it's going to kick back. But if you're doing short-term investing, I would tell you to maybe take some money out of the international because you don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Right now, treasury bonds are doing great. You can put it in a good government-backed treasury bond. Cash is incredible high-yield savings accounts today, and money market accounts that can make you 5% for your money, and you don't have any exposure.
Yeah, you sent me a money market account that's giving me back 6%.
Yeah, I think 5.5 now.
Yeah,
and it's fully liquid, FDIC insured. So if you have a bunch of cash and you're afraid of the market or you don't have the knowledge, dude, park it in something safe. Won't lose money. Sure, it's not 20% gain, but it's a safe 5.5.
Yeah.
You know, but I would say get educated on investing. And then if you don't feel right about it, I'm a big believer, don't do investments if it doesn't make sense in your heart and in your mind.
Yeah.
You know, so don't put it in unless you're willing to put some risk into it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's good stuff, man. So why don't we share some success stories that you've seen or, lived It could be your
sure.
clients or yourself.
Yeah.
In finances.
I mean, my big one that my biggest success story I had, unfortunately, I'm not like some of you crazy people in real estate that have 47 properties and stuff yet. I'm getting there. I'm slowly catching up to that. Back in 2016, 17, my wife and I, we were at the time similar to yourself. I'm a great earner. I know how to work. I could put my head down, get to work. I was making great money, but I was spending everything, man.
Buying a Rollie,
Everything.
pushing a Bentley.
You remember the Bentley. Remember the Bentley. Anyways, long story short, my wife and I, we get together, we put all our finances together, and we're like, oh, shoot, we're 110 grand in credit card debt. Because I was just,
in a blink of an eye, that happened.
Yeah, it happened over a couple of years, just slowly lifestyle spending. So me and my wife, we downgraded. We slowed down our spending. We just stopped going out to restaurants as hard. I didn't buy any Rolexes again and traded in cars, downgraded dramatically. But we paid off 110 grand in 18 months.
Wow.
Just living below our means.
In 18 months, 110 grand.
Yeah, if you do the math, it's there was months where I was making 15 grand a month and I was keeping literally 2,500 for myself.
Wow. So it was a dramatic lifestyle switch.
Yeah.
That requires discipline.
Oh, it took for me, it was, I'm doing this so that I don't ever have to deal with this again. Because at one point, this is the part with the over leverage problem. I was making enough money where I could pay the minimum payments.
Yeah.
I had $3,200 a month I had to pay the debt. And I was, it's okay.
Yeah.
I make 15, 20 grand. So it's okay.
I'll make more tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll get a new client next month.
Yeah.
It's $3,000. I could figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until I saw the long-term numbers. I'm like, oh shoot. If I don't pay this off, this 100 grand is going to be 250 in 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's a house. That's a down payment on a huge $1 million commercial property.
Yeah.
Or a bunch of money. So that was my big one. And so I would recommend anybody who, if you're in consumer debt, I'm a big believer. I mean, debt's a hard one. Some people are anti-debt. Some people like debt. My mentality now has been, you can use it to leverage, but you still have to have a fear of debt to a degree. Like you can't look at it like, oh, it's just whatever, No,
yeah. And especially like there's a lot of people online that talk about how to raise, how to, get a bunch of credit, use that to buy something, flip that. But there's a lot of discipline required with that. I wouldn't recommend anybody, if you're not good with your finances, like don't go get a $10,000 credit card.
Yeah.
Because you're just going to put yourself in a deeper hole.
100%. Like now I'm at a place where I know how to use credit cards.
Yeah.
The credit score is fully manipulatable. If you know how to use the finance system, you can get an 800 credit score in 12 months.
Yeah.
Maybe 18 months. And really, you can get approved for whatever you want. But just because you can get approved, that doesn't mean you can afford it. Like
exactly.
If I really wanted to, I could really get approved for $1 million house.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I should go buy $1 million
doesn't mean
house.
you should go do it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? If you're not disciplined, you're going to get all this credit, right? And then you're going to go buy a TV.
Oh no.
You're gonna spend it on liabilities that aren't going to bring a return.
Yeah. I mean, that, now you brought up a big one. I talked about this before at church before. I think a big problem entrepreneurs do is they throw too much money into these dang cars, man.
Yeah. Depreciating
assets, man. There's no reason as an entrepreneur you should be having this fancy car. I sat with another real estate guy about 7 months ago during the summer. I was evaluating his company, going through assets and stuff. And I'm like, did you know your car debt is actually more than you have in equity in your houses?
Wow.
I don't know if you noticed
just throwing it out there.
If it lands, I'm like, sell the car. What are you doing? This is stupid.
So if somebody, because I believe in lifestyle, we work hard to have nice things that we want.
Yeah.
When is it a responsible time to get that dream car?
So here's usually, I've been using this financial system called the Financial Order of Operations that I got from two of my buddies in Tennessee, funny enough, the Money Guys. I don't know if you guys know them, go check them out. They're really awesome. So pretty much the first 5 steps are get out of consumer debt, get out of high interest debt, get an emergency fund, right? Like for yourself or your business.
Emergency fund should be at least 3 months of living expenses.
At the very minimum, or if you're a business, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are single, not married yet, no kids yet. So like, you don't think you need a big savings? Great. I would challenge you, get 3 months of your business operation expenses before you buy this Maserati or before you buy this Porsche or whatever that you're trying to buy.
Yeah.
But anyways, do that. Make sure you're putting money aside for retirement. And then If you're happy with everything else because your future is set, then you should go buy that car you love. Then you go out and you buy.
Then you buy the Bentley and a Rollie.
Yeah, then you go out and you buy a Bentley and a Rolex, or my new thing is a never mind, my wife's going to listen. No, right now I told my wife, I'm like, the next thing I want to buy, I've really got into Breitlings recently.
Yeah, my cousin's into Breitlings.
Anyways, that's another conversation for another day. Yeah, but that's what I would say. If your future's set, and then if you have kids, that's a whole nother thing. Make sure you're putting money aside for the kids. One thing I love about Marco is his kingdom mindset. You know, it is our responsibility, especially if you're a leader listening to this, you're a father. We got to give back to our kids to make sure they're in a better place than when we started this thing.
Yeah.
You know, what's the point of you having this big wealth and your kids are not going to be good?
No, yeah, absolutely. It goes with legacy, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times people are working on their business and building this wealth, and they talk about legacy, but they're not doing the legwork to actually leave it so they could leave a legacy. And legacy is not only financing either. It's also being able to be present and leave something, leave wisdom for your kids. Teach them.
Absolutely.
Teach family, teach friends. You know, if you're the only one that's killing it in your crew, then that's a problem. Yeah,
I mean, something that I say constantly to my clients is, it's awesome if you're winning, but let's make your last name win. It can't just be like you and your wife or your partner. Why not? Why doesn't your mom know about this? Why doesn't your brother, your cousin, your sister, your immediate circle? They all need to be winning with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
that's good.
But that back to the kid situation. Like, can I talk about that for a sec?
Please do.
So if you're a parent on here, this has been I've known about this for years, but last year when I became a dad, it became like I started zoning in on it. Start opening up some accounts for your kids.
Yeah.
Don't wait until a big misconception people have. A lot of people don't know this. Even if you're not a parent yet, did you know you could open up a 529 right now for your non-existent child yet if you know you're going to have a child?
Explain what a 529 is.
Yeah, sure. So if you don't know, it's a education. A lot of people think it's college only, but it's actually any education plan. You could save, you can put money away, it grows tax-free, and you could use it tax-free for education. So if you're a parent, or maybe you're someone that you know you're going to be a parent, start putting some money aside, and you could use it for private school or even high school or college.
Yeah.
You know, start 529,
start that early. Can you start a 529 for future grandkids?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, I have that for all the kids in my family.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the weird uncle that's like, for Christmas, I'm like
they get bonds.
my three I never buy bonds, not for them at least. Like, that's my daughters, you know, like, and I'm like, for my three nephews, Jackson,
wow, that's awesome.
Jackson, Jacob, and Jasper. Funny enough,
3 J's.
Yeah, 3 J's, JJ, and their dad's name is Jerry.
4 J's.
Yeah, 4 J's.
Sounds like an R&B group.
Dude, believe it or not, they're having a fourth boy.
Ooh.
So 4 boys under 3. But anyways,
I'm trying to build a football team.
I told him he has a basketball team right now.
He does, starting 5.
Yeah, he could be. But for the boys, I'm not gonna go buy them a pair of Nikes. You know what I did?
What?
I bought them Nike stock. I'm not going to buy them an Apple product. I'm going to buy them Apple stock.
Now, what are the parents' reaction when you show up
they're like,
stocks?
They're like, well, I send it to their account. You know, okay. I'm like,
are they like typical Juan?
Yeah. No. Do
you add something to it, like to make it somewhat fun for the kids?
No.
I mean, I believe in what you're doing. It's good.
Yeah.
Maybe get them like a candy bar or something.
I knew. I
got this candy bar.
To be clear, I get them a gift, but it's a smaller gift than like me dropping like $200 to get them like a bike or like a big thing that's on their wish list.
Yeah.
You know, like
they'll thank you later.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's what I told my brother-in-law Jerry. I'm like, listen, they don't know right now. The only person that's getting pissed off about this is you. Because you know I'm not buying a big gift. But at 15, when these kids are talking about buying their first car, they're gonna have 5 or 10 grand sitting in this account that they could use for their first car.
Yeah, that's good.
I would rather do that.
That's awesome, man. That's kingdom mindset right there.
Yeah.
Hey, that's good stuff, man. Thank you for sharing. Why don't you let our listeners know where they can find you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on all platforms out there. Just look up my name, the Juan Saavedra. And if you do go check me out, I took a break from social media for the last couple months. You know,
because he's a dad now.
Yeah,
so he was focusing on his family.
Yeah, it took some time to be with my daughter at home, but I'm back to start posting this coming week.
Nice.
So, yeah, so follow me on there. And I didn't get a chance to share this. One of the things that I do that I love, and I love to share what I do, is, and here's something that rubs me wrong about the financial system, if you go to Chase or whatever bank you have and you want to work with a financial advisor, guess what they ask you to do?
What?
The first thing they ask you is like, oh, yeah, sure. We would love to take you on. How much money, though, do you have to invest?
Mm.
And they won't even talk to you sometimes
Wow.
unless you have 50 grand or 100 grand.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, go try. Go next time you go to the bank. Like,
Wow.
hey, like when I do a lot of business at Chase.
Yeah.
When I talk to the private client people, they're like, sometimes I like to just fact check myself because I don't want to be too egotistical that I know everything.
Yeah.
So I like to occasionally talk to another financial advisor. I'm like, hey, what do you think about my portfolio? What do you think about what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And some of these people, for the everyday person that's just getting started or you're not knowledgeable about this because this is a new language to you.
Yeah.
You can't even go talk to some of these people because they're like, they're going to tell you this, just go save some money, come back when you have $30,000, $50,000 to get started and we'll start helping you. So one of my goals has been to put out free financial education, financial literacy, and just put out things that you can do, whether you're just starting or maybe you got a bunch of money and you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's good. I like to build like the banks that I do use. I typically don't go to the major banks.
Yeah.
I do more like local banks, you know, that are smaller.
Yeah.
You're dealing directly with the management there.
Yeah,
they know who you are when you walk in.
Yeah.
You know, that type of bank. But wow, that's a shocker. With that being said, are there any books that you recommend to our listeners that they could start, you know, becoming more financial literate?
I think my favorite couple books that I think everybody should start with, The Millionaire Next Door is one of my favorite ones. You ever heard of it?
Yes.
I love Millionaire Next Door, especially if you're new to finance and you're just kind of getting your feet wet into that. Take a look at that. I love Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I do love him. I do somewhat not agree with everything
Robert Kiyosaki.
I love 95% of what he says. There's a couple of things I don't fully agree with.
Yeah.
And then I love Dave Ramsey for the Total Money Makeover, especially if you're just getting started and you really don't know where to get going. I think that's a great place to start, you know. And then The Richest Man in Babylon. That's a good book. I really enjoy that one too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to leave some links in the show notes.
Yeah.
Any resources that he has that we're going to share with you guys, these books also.
Yeah.
They're also going to be in the show notes, as well as his Instagram and social media platforms, so you can follow him. Make sure you follow him ASAP. Like and share and comment on this video.
Yeah.
Juan, thank you for coming and sharing all your financial experience with our listeners.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you having me on. Excited to be back in March.
Yes, sir. March. You heard it. All right, guys. Thank you. See you on the next episode.